What if I told you that a decade of research suggesting that paracetamol causes autism was missing a critical piece of the puzzle, and that when scientists finally looked at that missing piece, the entire story changed? I'm Dr. Fergal Armstrong, and today we're examining one of the most important lessons in how medical science evolves and why methodology matters more than headlines. Let me take you back about a decade. Multiple studies began suggesting something alarming. Prenatal paracetamol, otherwise known as acetaminophen, its use was associated with increased autism and ADHD risk. A major Danish study following over 64,000 children found a 51% increased risk of autism spectrum disorders with hyperkinetic symptoms. Women who used acetaminophen for more than 20 weeks during pregnancy nearly doubled their child's risk. A meta-analysis of 6 European cohorts involving 70,000 children showed a 19% increased autism risk and a 21% increased ADHD risk. The biological mechanisms seemed plausible. Acetaminophen crosses the placenta. It disrupts prostaglandin synthesis, and these are molecules critical for brain development. It potentially affects inflammatory pathways and dopaminergic systems that guide proper neurodevelopment. As these studies accumulated, concern grew. Some researchers called for restricting acetaminophen during pregnancy. Pregnant women became anxious about taking medication they genuinely needed for pain or fever. But here's what troubled methodologists about these studies. They couldn't separate the medication from the mothers who needed it. Now think about it. Who uses more acetaminophen during pregnancy? Women with chronic pain, frequent infections, inflammatory conditions, migraines, autoimmune disorders. Women dealing with health challenges. And here's the crucial question these studies couldn't answer. Were the neurodevelopmental effects caused by the medication or by the underlying conditions? By the genetic factors that predisposed mothers to these conditions? By the family environments shaped by chronic illness? This is called confounding by indication. When the reason you take a medication is itself a risk factor for the outcome you're studying. Standard statistical adjustments try to account for this, but they can only control for factors researchers measure and think to include. What we needed was a research design that could naturally control for all family factors, measured and unmeasured, known and unknown. We needed sibling control studies. In 2021 and 2024, 2 massive sibling control studies were published. The Swedish study analyzed 2.5 million children. The Norwegian study examined the mother and child cohort. Both used the same elegant approach. Compare siblings within families where one child was exposed to acetaminophen in utero and the other wasn't. Same parents, same genes, same home environment, same socioeconomic factors, same maternal health background. The only major difference? Acetaminophen exposure. And the results were unambiguous. The Swedish study initially replicated the concerning findings. Small increases in autism, ADHD, and intellectual disability risk. But when they switched to sibling comparisons, these associations vanished completely. The hazard ratio for autism, 0.98, for ADHD, 0.98, essentially no increased risk. The Norwegian study found the same pattern. Long-term acetaminophen use initially showed a 2-fold ADHD increase, but in sibling analysis, the association disappeared. Both exposed and unexposed children in families where mothers used acetaminophen long-term had elevated ADHD rates, suggesting family factors, not the medication, explaining that risk. Here's what this means for you. If you're pregnant and need acetaminophen for legitimate reasons, pain, fever, headaches, these studies provide strong reassurance. Use it sensibly. Lowest effective dose, shortest necessary duration. But the fear that you're significantly increasing autism or ADHD risk appears unfounded. This story illustrates something fundamental about medical science. Early studies can point us towards concerns, but only rigorous methodology can confirm or refute them. Until next time, I'm Dr. Fergal Armstrong, reminding you that good science protects us from both real dangers and false alarms.